José Alberto Gutiérrez, a garbage collector from Bogotá, Colombia, had no idea that his daily job would lead him on a path that would inspire countless others around the world. In 2017, while doing his rounds collecting trash, he began noticing something unusual: discarded books among the piles of waste. At first, these books seemed like nothing more than junk, but José saw them differently. To him, they represented something more valuable than the garbage they were considered to be. They were gateways to knowledge and opportunity. José's childhood was marked by poverty, and he had few opportunities for formal education. Books had always been a luxury in his family, something that many people in his community could never afford. But despite the limited resources, José had always harbored a love for reading. He remembered how books had opened his mind and allowed him to dream, even in the toughest of circumstances. He believed that everyone, especially children, deserved the same to experience the power of reading. As he continued to work, José's habit of rescuing discarded books grew. What started as a few stray novels and textbooks soon turned to a growing collection. He began bringing the books home, stacking them on shelves and filling his small house with these treasures he had found in the trash. He had no formal training or resources to open a library, but José knew he wanted to share these books with the children in his neighborhood. Many of them, like him growing up, had never owned a book before, and he believed they deserved the opportunity to experience the world beyond their difficult circumstances. At first, José didn't have a grand plan or vision. He simply wanted to make books available to children who needed them. His home became an informal library, where kids could come and borrow books for free. They were thrilled to discover new worlds, learn about far-off places, and explore subjects that intrigued them. It wasn't just the act of reading that excited them, but the chance to have something that many people for granted: a book of their own, as word spread about the book collector. More and more children came to José's home, eager to borrow a book. What began as a small collection grew quickly, and José realized that he needed more space to accommodate the growing demand. He began to actively seek out books from other trash and dumpsters, diving deeper into the piles of discarded materials. For José, each book he saved was a small victory, an opportunity for a child to learn, dream, grow. José's library didn't just contain educational books or novels. It was a treasure trove of possibilities. There were books about science, art, history, and even comics. Some of the children who visited his home had never been exposed to these subjects before. They began to explore new ideas, develop their curiosity, and build their knowledge. The children didn't just take the books home. They spent time discussing the stories, sharing what they had learned, and imagining what they could achieve. As his small library gained popularity, José's efforts caught the attention of local news outlets. His story was shared, and soon people began donating books to help him expand his collection. José was overwhelmed by the support. But he knew that the heart of the library was not in the number of books it contained, but in the way it transformed lives. The community rallied around José's mission, and his home, once filled with books from the trash, became a center of learning, creativity, and hope. But José's impact didn't stop at his own neighborhood. As his story spread, it inspired similar movements in other parts of the world, including in the United States. People in underserved communities began to their own versions of José's book rescue programs, rescuing discarded books and offering them to those who couldn't afford them. José's example showed that anyone, no matter their station in life, could make a difference, and that the power of books could transcend the barriers of wealth and privilege. The impact of José's library was profound, not just on the children who borrowed books, but on the entire community. The kids who once struggled to read began excelling in school, gaining confidence in their abilities and dreaming of brighter futures. They started to believe in the possibility of change, in the idea that they could break free from the cycle of poverty through knowledge and education. José's simple act of rescuing books became a catalyst for a transformation that was felt far beyond his neighborhood. José's story is a reminder that sometimes, the most impactful acts of kindness are the ones that seem the smallest. By rescuing discarded books from the trash, José not only saved physical objects, he gave the children in his community the chance to learn, grow, and succeed. His library, born from a passion for reading and a deep sense of empathy, became a symbol of hope and possibility for everyone it touched. Today, José's legacy lives on in the hearts and minds of the children who visited his library. Many of them have gone on to achieve their dreams, some becoming teachers, doctors, and community leaders. They often return to José's home, now a permanent part of the community, to thank him for the books that opened their lives. And in turn, José continues to rescue books, still believing that each one has the power to transform a life. José Alberto Gutiérrez's story proves that no matter where you come from or what resources you have the power to make a difference. Through his simple act of saving books, he created a library that not only educated a generation of children but inspired a global movement. It's a reminder that small acts of kindness can ripple out into the world and create change in ways we never thought possible.